Yeah, so I'm Dr. Stanberry, and I'm an optometrist here at the SUNY College of Optometry. Officially, my title is Assistant Clinical Professor. I'm a graduate of the college as well, the class of 2008. Rwanda itself is a peaceful country. I think it's a very organized and very clean country, and very well ran. The history of Rwanda is a little bit tumultuous. They're colonized by the Belgians, and after they left, the country was divided into two different groups: the Hutus and the Tutsis. The Hutus were native to Rwanda. The Tutsis are Africans who migrated from East Africa, and they lived harmoniously before colonization. Afterwards, after the Belgians left, they had put the Tutsis, the minority group, in control. The Hutus rebelled, took control of the country, and since then there have been some systematic slaughter of the Tutsis. It came to a head in 1994 when they had the Rwandan genocide, where about a million Tutsis were killed. Throughout the history of Rwanda, some fled into the neighboring countries, into the Congo. With the conflicts in the Congo, these Tutsis fled back into Rwanda, and some are actually at the refugee camp. There are 3 refugee camps in Rwanda, one of which is a Gihembe camp, which we saw these patients. In Rwanda, a few things really stood out when I was there. Some of the pictures that we'll kind of describe. One picture was the picture with me standing with some of the people from Rwanda, some of the doctors in Rwanda. And what stood out with that was a collaborative effort. I mean, we had a lot of patients to be seen. And the Rwandese people are proud people, they're capable people. So they had their government agents and doctors come along with us as well. In the beginning, it was sort of rough. We had to basically coordinate ourselves, and we had to work together cohesively. Now, there are some language barriers, of course, that we had to get by, some cultural barriers as well. In the beginning, the first few days, we were kind of ironing out those differences. But I think it was very rewarding. By the end of the trip, we became almost like brothers. We got really close by the end of it. We were able to share stories. Some of these people I still communicate with now, even though I've been back now for a few months. So I think that was pretty rewarding to see how you can have people from different cultures, from different parts of the world, kind of come together and make a difference, and make a significant difference. Other one that stood out was, we were driving in a bus from where we stayed. We stayed at a compound outside the camp, and we had to be bussed in every day. And when we were driving, we saw these people walking in orange and pink jumpsuits along the side of the road. So I asked one of our translators what was happening, and he said that those were people who committed genocide in Rwanda. Those were prisoners now. And what they did was that they would go out daily and they'd provide community service. So they would actually, build houses for the widows and orphans of the genocide. They'll help to fix the roads and farm some of the lands and everything. But being, I think driving by and them just being an arm's length away just really made it seem how real the events of what happened in 1994 were. These people were responsible for the death of so many people, and this made it more real in terms of what happened in Rwanda. The other picture was one with those kids. We had tons and tons of kids. They were in the refugee camp. They were so excited to see us. I mean, every day these kids would come up to the bus. They'd run up to the bus and be so excited. They come over. They want to know your name. They want to have a conversation. They want to play soccer. So I think this is a reminder of all the children that we saw, and how hopeful these children were, even though their circumstances weren't that great, and how happy and positive everybody was. So I was very impressed by that, because it's easy in these circumstances to sort of not be as happy, to be depressed about the circumstances you're in. But these people found a way to really rise above that. The other picture was a picture of me doing a binocular indirect ophthalmoscopy on a patient. That's more symbolic picture. This patient was fine, but I think we had patients there when I looked in. I was very amazed by the level of pathology that they had, that they were functioning with. And I think just being able to detect that as I was there was important. We had patients who were severely malnourished, and we would pick that up on changes that we saw with the eyes. We had patients who had significant glaucoma, which was asymptomatic. But by using some of the instruments that we brought, we were able to detect these conditions, and then we started treatment, and we had them in line to get continued treatment after we left. And our last picture was just a picture of me standing with the two students that I went with from SUNY. That's Kui and Julia. And I think it was a great experience going with the students. I think I learned to interact with these students in a way that I would never have had the opportunity here at the college. I mean, we stayed in the same room. Kui and I became almost like brothers throughout the whole process. It was a tremendous teaching experience because we're dealing with conditions and teaching in conditions that we wouldn't be subjected to here. So I think it was significant growth. I think the personal and professional growth that we had, that I had with these students was pretty remarkable throughout the trip. It changes your life. I think the professional side is one thing. You definitely get to interact with other professionals, other eye doctors. You get to know them in a meaningful way, and you get to know them pretty well, even though over the course of a week. But I think personal growth is probably the most significant part to me, because again, it makes you more aware of what's happening worldwide. It makes you more aware of the way you can help, your potential to make a difference. And especially when you have patients who are so appreciative, I think it helps you feel more, it makes you feel better about the things that you do overall. So I think it would be a tremendous opportunity for any optometry student, any optometrist, to really take it upon themselves to really provide this type of care.